You feel it, don't you? Like heaven has been watching you silently, waiting, testing, measuring your strength in the dark. Listen carefully, because I am speaking directly to you. You were not forgotten. You were not late. You were being prepared. You are the first person ever to pass this test in under 40 days. And yes, I saw every tear. Every night you stayed strong when you wanted to break. Every time life attacked you from places you trusted, you thought you were losing. But I was building something inside you that fear could not destroy. Chosen one, I am not surprised by your survival. I am amazed by your faith under pressure. The attacks were loud, the loneliness was louder, but I was closer than you felt. And today, something in your story is about to change. You are not watching this by accident. You are here because heaven is about to speak to you differently. You thought I was angry with you, didn't you? You thought the pain meant I was distant, that the struggles were evidence that you had done something wrong. But listen closely, because I am speaking directly to your heart right now. Your struggles were not punishment. They were spiritual training for your destiny. I watched you when life felt heavier than you could carry, when you were trying to move forward, but every step felt like walking through invisible resistance. You kept asking why things had to be so hard for you, why you had to fight battles that other people seemed to escape, why success seemed to come easier for others, while you had to grow through pressure, through tears, through nights where you had to convince yourself to keep believing. But I was not breaking you. I was building you. I allowed pressure because I knew what was inside of you. I saw strength that you did not see in yourself. I saw endurance hidden inside your pain. I saw faith growing quietly even when your voice was shaking. While you were thinking you were being defeated, I was strengthening your spiritual muscles for battles you cannot yet see. Do you remember those moments when you felt like giving up? When your mind was tired of fighting doubt? When people misunderstood your journey and thought you were failing? I was there in every moment, not distant, not silent, just working in ways you could not yet understand. Gold is not made beautiful by comfort, it is purified by fire. And you, chosen one, were never meant to live a shallow story. You were always meant to carry something deeper, something stronger, something that required you to become spiritually stronger than your circumstances. The struggles were my way of teaching you how to stand when life tries to knock you down, how to believe when nothing around you makes sense, how to trust purpose when your emotions are screaming fear. I was teaching you how to become someone who cannot be easily broken by pressure, success, betrayal, or spiritual attacks. You survived things that were meant to silence your voice. You survived seasons that were meant to convince you that you were ordinary. But I never saw you as ordinary. I saw the version of you that would carry purpose, wisdom, and spiritual authority because of what you endured quietly. So stop thinking you were being punished. Start realizing you were being prepared. Because what I am about to release through your life requires a version of you that has already learned how to survive storms, how to grow in darkness, and how to stay faithful when the answers were not visible yet. Your struggles were never your ending. They were your spiritual training ground, and you are stronger now than you have ever realized. You cried when they walked away from you, didn't you? You replayed the memories in your mind, wondering what you did wrong, wondering why love turned cold, why promises were broken, why people you trusted suddenly became strangers standing on the other side of your story. But listen to me carefully. Their rejection was not the end of your story. It was me protecting your destiny. I know how deep that loneliness felt. The nights when you questioned your worth because someone's silence felt louder than their words ever were. The moments when you tried to fix relationships that I was already removing from your path. You kept knocking on doors that I had quietly closed, not to punish you, but to protect the future I was building for you. You were never rejected because you were not enough. You were rejected because your purpose was too heavy for the wrong people to carry. Some people could enjoy your presence, but they could not survive your purpose. They could smile with you during your good seasons, but they would have broken under the weight of the calling I placed on your life. So I allowed distance. I allowed silence. I allowed people to reveal their true hearts, even when it hurt you to watch it happen. I heard every prayer. You prayed for those relationships to work. I heard you asking me to change their hearts. But sometimes I do not change people. Sometimes I change your direction. You thought you were losing friends, but I was removing spiritual weight from your journey. Chosen one, I was not trying to make your life empty. I was making it ready, because where I am taking you, you cannot carry people who carry jealousy, insecurity, hidden competition, or spiritual confusion. You are being prepared for environments that require clarity, peace, and strength of spirit. Rejection was my way of saving you from emotional warfare you could not yet see. Some of those people were connected to your life only for a season, not because they were bad people, but because they were not meant to walk the same destiny road as you. And I know how painful it felt when they replaced you, when they chose someone else, when you watched them move forward without you and wondered why you were left behind. But I was not leaving you behind. I was moving you ahead in a different direction. You were not built to be accepted by everyone. You were built to be guided by purpose. The loneliness you felt was not a sign that you were forgotten. It was a sign that I was isolating you from voices that would have diluted your calling. I was teaching you how to hear my voice more clearly than the noise of people's opinions, because what I am about to do in your life will require spiritual focus, emotional strength, and a heart that is no longer easily shaken by rejection. So dry your tears, not because the pain was meaningless, but because I turned that pain into protection. You are not unwanted. You are simply chosen for a story that not everyone can walk with you inside of. You felt it, didn't you? That unseen pressure in the atmosphere around your life. The sudden emotional battles. The confusion that would appear out of nowhere. The heaviness in your thoughts when you were trying to move forward. The moments when you felt like something was trying to silence your peace, steal your confidence, or make you doubt who you really are. But listen closely, because I am speaking directly to you. The spiritual warfare you felt was not random. It was proof that something powerful was being protected. You thought the battles meant you were weak. But I saw something else. I saw the enemy reacting to what was growing inside of you. because purpose does not grow quietly in the spirit realm. Destiny creates noise in places you cannot see. There were moments when fear tried to whisper that you were alone in the fight, that nobody understood the pressure on your mind, your emotions, your faith. But I was there in every unseen battle. When anxiety tried to wrap itself around your thoughts, I was pushing back in ways you could not physically feel, but spiritually experience. You were never fighting alone. You were guarding something sacred. Chosen one, you are carrying something inside you that darkness does not want to see fully born. That is why the attacks felt targeted. That is why discouragement came at moments when you were closest to growth. That is why confusion tried to attack your identity, your confidence, and your peace all at once. Because spiritual warfare is not about destruction alone. It is about stopping destiny before it fully awakens. But I never allowed you to be overwhelmed beyond what you could survive. Every attack had boundaries. Every storm had limits. Because I was not just watching you fight, I was measuring your strength and building spiritual authority inside your character through every battle you survived. Do you remember those nights when you felt exhausted without knowing why? That was not just emotional fatigue. That was spiritual pressure, because something powerful inside you was resisting forces that wanted you spiritually distracted, emotionally broken, and mentally trapped in fear. But you kept standing. Even when your faith felt small, you still believed. Even when your prayers felt quiet, I still heard them. Even when you felt invisible to the world, you were never invisible to heaven. The warfare was proof that your purpose is not ordinary. Ordinary lives do not attract spiritual resistance at this level. But you were never called to live an ordinary story. You were called to carry influence, healing, leadership, and spiritual impact that will reach people you have not even met yet. So do not be afraid of what you survived. Be confident, because what tried to destroy you was actually revealing how important you are to my purpose. The battle is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign that something powerful is still being protected inside you. And that protection is stronger than every attack you have ever faced. You thought I had left you in silence, didn't you? You sat in rooms full of noise, but still felt completely alone. You watched other people move through life surrounded by friends, comfort, and connection, while you walked through seasons where your world felt quieter, heavier, and deeply personal. But listen carefully, because I am speaking directly to your heart. Your isolation was not abandonment. It was divine preparation for elevation. I know how heavy that loneliness felt. The nights when you wanted someone to understand your thoughts without you having to explain them. The moments when you felt like you were standing behind a glass wall, watching others experience the life you wanted, wondering why your journey felt so different. You were not being punished by silence. You were being trained in solitude. Because I needed to speak to you without the noise of other voices shaping what you believed about yourself. I needed to build your identity in me, not in people's approval, not in social validation, not in temporary attention that disappears when seasons change. There were things I wanted to teach you that could only be learned in quiet places. Strength that does not depend on constant encouragement. Faith that does not collapse when people misunderstand you. emotional stability that does not need crowds to feel important. You felt forgotten, but I was actually intensifying your spiritual focus. Elevation requires separation. Not because you are better than others, but because the assignment on your life requires spiritual maturity. I was teaching you how to hear purpose louder than opinions. How to stay grounded when recognition is delayed. How to keep moving forward even when nobody is cheering for you. There were moments when you questioned your worth because you were not invited, not included, not chosen for certain spaces. But I was not rejecting you from those rooms. I was preparing you for rooms that match your destiny. Rooms where your voice will carry authority, wisdom, and spiritual weight that cannot be easily ignored. Isolation was where I shaped your character in ways that public success could never do. I was teaching you humility, emotional resilience, and spiritual independence from environments that could have diluted your calling. You cried sometimes, wondering if anyone truly saw you. But I saw you growing stronger in ways that were invisible to human eyes. I saw you learning how to stand alone without losing faith. I saw you becoming someone who does not depend on constant emotional validation to keep believing in purpose. Chosen one, you were never meant to be permanently surrounded by everyone. You were meant to be spiritually rooted in something deeper than popularity, deeper than comfort, deeper than acceptance. Because what I am preparing you for will require you to stand in places where you may have to carry vision before others understand it, where you may have to walk forward while others are still trying to figure out who you are. So do not fear the quiet seasons. They were never meant to break you. They were meant to build someone strong enough to carry the elevation I have already prepared for your life. You feel like you are still waiting, don't you? Waiting for something to shift. Waiting for the door to open. Waiting for the moment when everything suddenly makes sense. You have been praying, believing, hoping quietly even when you were tired of hoping. But listen to me very carefully, because I am speaking directly to you. Your breakthrough is already written. You are not trying to create it. You are not trying to force it. You are only walking toward the moment where it appears in your life. I know how long you have been fighting in silence. How many times you felt like you were standing at the edge of giving up. But something inside you kept saying, keep going. That was not just motivation. That was destiny pulling you forward even when your emotions wanted to stop. You think your breakthrough is still far away. But in my perspective, it is already moving toward you. I have been aligning circumstances, people, opportunities, and spiritual timing in ways you cannot yet see. While you were praying for one solution, I was working behind the scenes to build something greater than what you asked for. Because I do not only answer prayers, I prepare destinies. There were moments when you thought nothing was changing, when your life felt stuck between struggle and promise. But even when you could not see progress, I was moving pieces in your favor, like preparing the stage before the performance begins. Like writing chapters you were not ready to read yet. Your breakthrough is not random. It is not lucky. It is not dependent on human approval or perfect circumstances. It is a divine appointment that has been waiting for your arrival. You survived seasons that were designed to break people who were not spiritually prepared for this level of blessing. You kept believing when results were slow. You kept standing when disappointment tried to rewrite your faith. That endurance was not wasted. It was building the strength you will need when your breakthrough finally manifests. And when it comes, it will feel sudden to others, but not to heaven, because I have been watching you grow into the person who can carry it. Breakthrough is not just about receiving blessings. It is about becoming someone who can handle what comes with them: responsibility, influence, visibility, spiritual authority. You are not rushing toward destiny. You are walking in perfect timing, even when you feel impatient. Every step you take in faith is bringing you closer to the moment where what you have been praying for will step into your reality and recognize you. So do not give up now, not when you are closer than you think, not when your story is about to change in ways you did not expect. Your breakthrough is already written. You are simply walking toward the moment where I reveal it in your life. And when it happens, you will know that every tear, every prayer, every struggle was never wasted. It was preparation for this moment of fulfillment. You have been carrying something heavier than your future, haven't you? You have been carrying memories of your past, the mistakes you wish you could erase, the moments you wish you could go back and change, the voices inside your mind reminding you of what you once did instead of what you are becoming. But listen closely, because I am speaking directly to your heart. Your destiny is bigger than your past mistakes and stronger than your fears. I know how those memories try to follow you, like shadows walking behind you when you are trying to move forward. I know how regret can whisper that you have disqualified yourself from greatness, that you have made too many wrong choices, that maybe you are too broken to carry something beautiful. But I do not define you by who you were when you were still learning how to grow. I see who you are becoming. You were never meant to be trapped inside your past. Your mistakes were not permanent labels written over your identity. They were chapters in a story of transformation. You survived things emotionally, spiritually, and mentally that were meant to convince you that you would stay stuck forever. But you did not stay there. You kept moving, even when you moved slowly, even when progress felt invisible. And I want you to hear this deeply. I never stopped loving you during your weakest moments, when you made decisions you now regret, when you followed paths that hurt you more than they helped you. I was not shocked by your humanity. I was already preparing your restoration, because I knew something about you that fear did not want you to know. Your destiny is stronger than your fears. Fear tried to convince you that your future would repeat your past, that you would always struggle with the same battles, the same emotional wounds, the same doubts about your worth. But destiny is stronger than repetition. Destiny is stronger than generational patterns. Destiny is stronger than the mistakes that tried to define your story. There is a version of you that is still growing beyond what you have been through. A stronger version, a wiser version, a spiritually deeper version of yourself that is not controlled by guilt but motivated by purpose. You thought your mistakes were disqualifications, but I turned them into wisdom. I turned your pain into emotional strength. I turned your regret into spiritual maturity. You learned lessons that will protect your future from repeating old wounds. and your fears. They do not have authority over your destiny. I know what you are afraid of losing. I know what you are afraid of becoming. I know the anxiety that sometimes wakes you up at night asking what will happen if you fail again. But listen to me. I am not building a fragile future for you. I am building a destiny that can survive storms, criticism, pressure, and spiritual attacks. You are not too broken to be chosen. You are not too damaged to be elevated. You are simply becoming someone stronger than your fears. So stop measuring your future using your past. Start walking forward, knowing that your destiny is already greater than every mistake you have survived. Because I am not finished with your story yet. And what is coming for you will prove that your past never had the final word. You thought you were completely alone, didn't you? You felt it in the silence of empty rooms, in the quiet nights when your thoughts were loud, but your world was quiet. In the moments when you wished someone could just sit beside you and understand what you were fighting inside your mind and your heart. But listen closely, because I am speaking directly to you. You were never alone. Divine protection has surrounded you even when you felt completely alone. There were moments when danger came close to your life. Not always physical danger, but emotional danger, spiritual danger, situations that could have broken your spirit permanently. And you did not even know how close you were to falling apart. But I held you steady in ways you could not see, like an invisible wall around your purpose, around your future, around your heart when it was vulnerable, when betrayal came unexpectedly, when people spoke against you without you even knowing, when opportunities disappeared suddenly and you wondered why life kept closing doors. I was protecting you. You thought delays were failures. But sometimes delays are protection from timing that would have destroyed you emotionally or spiritually. You were being guided away from situations that looked good on the surface, but carried hidden pain underneath. There were people who came into your life who were not meant to stay. Not because you were unworthy of love, but because your destiny required protection from influences that could have weakened your spirit. I was filtering your environment, guarding your journey like someone carefully protecting something precious and irreplaceable. You did not feel my presence sometimes. I know that. You prayed and sometimes felt like your prayers were echoing in silence. But protection does not always feel emotional. Sometimes protection feels like distance, like rejection, like doors closing, like sudden changes you did not understand at the time. But I was watching every step you took. There were moments when you narrowly escaped emotional destruction, and you did not even realize it. Conversations you almost entered. Relationships you almost stayed in, decisions you almost made, and I gently guided your path without forcing you to see the danger you were being protected from. You are not surviving by accident. You are being spiritually shielded by purpose. And I want you to stop thinking that you had to fight everything alone. You were fighting, yes. But I was fighting with you in ways you could not physically see, standing between you and spiritual forces that wanted to steal your peace, your confidence, your faith in yourself. Chosen one, you are still here because something about your life is important to my plans. You survived seasons where others may have lost hope. You kept breathing, kept believing. kept moving forward even when you did not know how you would make it through another day. That survival was not luck. That was protection. And what I am protecting inside you is not finished growing yet. Your story is still unfolding under my watchful presence. And the same protection that kept you alive during your darkest seasons will continue walking with you into your greatest seasons of destiny and blessing. You are starting to feel it now, aren't you? That strange stirring in your spirit, like something inside you, is finally beginning to understand. Like the pieces of your pain are slowly starting to make sense. Listen closely, because this is where everything begins to change inside your heart. Your pain had purpose. Every tear, every sleepless night, every battle you thought would destroy you. It was not random suffering. It was preparation. You were not being crushed. You were being shaped, like something strong being forged in fire, pressure after pressure, moment after moment, until something inside you became stronger than what tried to break you. You thought those struggles were signs of weakness, but I was using those struggles to build spiritual authority inside you. I was teaching your spirit how to stand when life becomes heavier than comfort. How to keep believing when nothing around you makes sense. How to walk forward when you cannot yet see where you are going. And I was protecting you in ways you could not see. There were dangers you never even knew you escaped. Emotional traps, spiritual distractions, relationships that would have drained your destiny instead of supporting it. I placed invisible boundaries around your life when you did not even know you needed them. Because I was not just watching you survive. I was preparing you to carry something powerful. Do you feel that rising sense inside you right now? That realization that your story was never meant to stay stuck in suffering. That the very things that once broke your heart are becoming the foundation of your strength. You are not becoming who you are by accident. Destiny is activating inside you slowly but deliberately, like a seed breaking through soil after being buried in darkness for a season. The soil was not your prison. It was your preparation ground. You had to be hidden before you could be revealed. You had to be tested before you could be trusted with what is coming next. Because what I am placing in your life next will require emotional strength, spiritual clarity, and faith that cannot be easily shaken by pressure or success. Your pain was not wasted time. It was training. It was sharpening. It was spiritual conditioning for elevation you were not ready to carry earlier in your life. And now something is shifting. You are starting to realize you were never abandoned. You were guided, never broken beyond repair, only prepared for a destiny that is stronger than everything you survived. And what is about to happen next in your life will prove that your pain was never the end of your story. It was the beginning of your purpose awakening. So stand up now, not because life stopped fighting you, but because you have already survived what was meant to destroy you. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still believing, and that is not weakness, that is victory quietly growing inside your spirit. I never left you, not in your darkest night, not in your deepest fear, not when you felt invisible to the world. I was there, holding your story together when you felt like falling apart. The battle you faced was never bigger than the destiny I placed inside you. Walk forward now with your head lifted, your heart strengthened, and your faith unshaken. Your future is not written in defeat. It is written in purpose, power, and divine victory. Go forward, chosen one. The world will see what I have been building in you all along. Your destiny is alive. Your breakthrough is coming. Stand strong.